Encourage both heels down to the ground. Keep pulling your chest towards your toes. Open up the back. From here, you're going to kick your right foot through to runner's pose. Bringing your knee to a 90-degree angle. And your chest down to your knee. Keep your back leg straight. I want you to keep holding each pose for 5 seconds. From here, you're going to rotate your back foot down, opening up the toe, and you'll lift your chest up. So see how low I stayed? I was still here. I stayed down with my hips, and I just lifted my torso up. If you're not as flexible, it's okay to straighten your knee slightly, but you want to keep trying to bend into that knee, working on that flexibility. Keep your knee in line with your toe so that you're not pulling your knee forward. Open up the hip. From here, you're going to stretch 180 degrees into Warrior Two. So bend towards the left knee. Energy through your hands. Keep your shoulders back and down and your core tight. You're going to rotate into a half triangle. Right elbow to your right knee. Left hand reaches up to the sky. Opening up the shoulder. And you're going to straighten your right knee and bring your hand down to your foot. This is full triangle pose. If you're not as flexible, you can keep your hand up towards your shin. Otherwise, try to grab your ankle or drop your hand back behind you and keep stretching out the back of that hamstring. You can challenge yourself by rotating around, bringing your left hand to your ankle and your right hand up. Very nice, guys. Rotate back to full triangle pose, and we're going to kick back to reverse triangle. Bring your left hand to your left knee, right arm up to the sky. Release the whole right side of the body. Keep stretching up with that right hand. From here, we're going to rotate our hips forward to Warrior One. So hips come square, back knee is straight, hands come up to prayer. Keep the chest lifted. Bring the hands up to crescent pose. You can drop your hands back down to prayer. Rotate your elbow to the outside of the knee. And look over your right shoulder and balance. Keep trying to sink farther down into your hips so you feel a nice stretch in the right hamstring. Come back to center. Drop your hands down, and we're going to release into a hip flexor stretch. So you're going to drop your hips forward and down. Elbows can come to your knee. We're going to open up that hip a little bit more. So drop your left hand down to the ground, right hand into your right knee. Rotate your right foot slightly off to the side. You're going to push into that knee. And just be gentle, nice easy stretch as much as you can. Still pulling your left hip forward and opening up your right hip. Come back to center. And all the way up. Bring your left hand up to the sky. Drop it to the outside of the right knee. Slide down and anchor your elbow. Twisting. Hands come to prayer. Release the lower back. Come to center. And you can stretch back and do a hamstring stretch, keeping your foot flexed. Front knee is straight, and try to sink back into your left hip. and cow pose. On an inhale, curve your spine. Inhale to cat. Exhale, release, open the chest, and arch the back to cow. Inhale, cat. Exhale, cow. Inhale, cat. And exhale to cow. Engage your core, and you can stretch to the side, looking back towards your foot. If you want a little bit extra stretch, you can walk your hands out to the side. Good. Come back to center. And stretch to the other direction. Bring your hands around. Feel a nice stretch. And back to center. From here, we're going to go into balancing tabletop. Straighten your left foot and your right knee. Inhale and exhale. If you want to challenge yourself, you can raise your hand and your foot to a lower back crunch. Working the lower back. Try to keep the elbow and knee straight. And do about 10 reps on that side. Lower back down, release to child's pose. Dropping your forehead to the ground. Hips back towards your toes. Really widen and open up the back. You can bring your hands together to extended child's pose. Shoulders up towards the ears. And from here, we're going to lift into Thai goddess pose. So you're going to tuck your toes underneath you. And your hips come back towards your heels. Hands come to prayer. We're releasing the bottom of our feet. Nice stretch. Keep that chest lifted to the sky. Again, taking 5 deep breaths in this pose. And then shake out the toes. And we're going to lift up into camel pose. You're going to bring your right hand up to the sky. Left hand comes back to grab your heel. Stretching out your hip flexors, pulling your hips forward. If you want more of a stretch, you can bring this hand to the opposite heel, releasing the shoulder. And come on up. Walk straight back out to plank and all the way back to downward facing dog. From here, you can walk the dog, and you can repeat the entire sequence of poses on the left leg, kicking out into warrior runner's pose and warrior pose, all the way through. And once you come back to downward facing dog, you're going to jump your feet toward your hands, hang invertedly, slight bend in the back of the knees, release any tension in your upper back and your neck. And slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. First thing to come up is your hips, and then your shoulders, and the last thing to roll up is your head. Thanks for joining me today. For more great tips and exercise videos, visit RestoreHealthUSA.com.